Let me set the stage. I'm driving to a kill team tournament. I'm super excited. I've got my Kazarkin kill team. They're not painted yet, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I think they'll let me play with unpainted models. I pull into the parking lot. I'm super early. I go in to register and oh no, you are not allowed to game with unpainted miniatures. My dreams are crushed. I can't back out now. Sean, my nemesis, is in the tournament and I can't let him win. Frantically, I start thinking of a solution. I gotta get these painted. I'm looking for local hobby shops near me that I can maybe get some paint. Maybe I can get these guys painted. And as luck would have it, there is a local hobby shop. I throw everything into my car and I tear off to that shop. I might just get to play today. I throw open the doors and tragedy strikes. I see nothing but comic books and Magic the Gathering. I do 10 laps of the store. I'm looking under boxes. I'm looking at all the shelves, but I can't find any hobby supplies. Finally, I go up to the manager and I beg him, do you have any tools that I can buy to get these painted? He thinks for a long second and those seconds become hours as I'm waiting, but finally he heads to the back and he comes out with 3 dusty bottles of paint. Tabletop standard is 3 colors and up. I might just get to game today. Okay, maybe that scenario was a little bit silly, but I really do want to paint these guys using only 3 colors, because recently I was painting my Black Templar for a painting guide PDF on our Patreon. By the way, on our Patreon, we got painting guide PDFs. Check it out. And it turns out that I use 21 colors to paint my Black Templar the way I like to, and that is a crazy amount of paint. That's like $100 worth of paint. I bet I can still get my models to look really good without any of that nonsense. I bet for $9 of paint, I can get these guys really nice. The 3 colors I have to use are dark green, light blue, and bright orange. I'm gonna stretch this limited palette as far as I possibly can. When I mix these paints together, I find that I have about 7 different colors, which will hopefully be enough. Now I want to zenithal these guys, but I want to keep with my theme of doing more with less, so I don't want to use my airbrush that'll just do a perfect job. Instead, going back to my original story, that local game store owner used to play Warhammer Fantasy, and he lent me his almost empty cans of black and white spray primer. That is pretty speckly. I haven't done a rattle can prime in ages, but it's probably good enough. If I was going to paint these up normally, I would probably start with an airbrush base coat, or maybe some speed paints, but I'm going back to the basics. A brush-on base coat. Keeping the paint somewhat watery and transparent, as yucky as the primer was, the speckly white is the brightest color I have, so I have to take advantage of it. These Kazarkin are super guard, but still regular soldiers, so a nice leather brown will be a good fit for their boots, belts, and bags. And this is a new color, the first mix of many. And speaking of mixes, I'm getting more and more into using light colors. They pop more in the battlefield, and with the right amount of contrast, which I won't be able to achieve with my limited palette, they can really draw the eye. It's gonna be a challenge, but I'm gonna try. On the weapons, I created a light green mix. This is a bit too similar to the green clothing, but at least I can use the lighter colors to create some highlights and shadows, and make the guns look smooth. Like painted metal compared to the dark gritty clothing. The light blue came in handy for anything metal. A watery glaze gave a cold tone that I could not get with the green or orange. A metallic would have been lovely, but this cold blue tone will still provide some nice contrast to the warmth of the green, brown, and tan. The base coats are on and it's looking fine. I applied them a little heavier than I usually would have because I was trying to cover up some of the speckly zenithal. And it's all right. If I had a black and a white paint, I could really make these colors sing. But as it is, I have a lightish color and a darkish color, and I'm gonna have to make do with that. The brownish paint is gonna have to do the work of a brown wash to outline the tan armor panels. A good exercise in making gradients. Watery paint does a good job of flowing into cracks and edges, but I'm not very good at it, so a cheat is to do many thin layers, going back and forth between the brown and tan until everything is smooth. Smooth like beautiful rock formations found in caves. And speaking of caves, the Eons of Battle Patreon is the best place to be if you want to play on lovely new boards every month. This month is a super modular cave system, a Goblin Rave Cave. Perfect for games like Kill Team, 40K, or any other miniature war game. I did the same things on the clothing, mixing my light blue into the dark green and doing some highlights. I did this sparingly, it desaturated the green a lot, and I wanted the brightest green on the weapons. I ran into the same issue on the brown. I couldn't highlight too much or else the brown would turn into tan, just like the armor. The limited palette forced me to be more creative and think harder about my decisions. Man, would I kill for a wash paint right now. One dunk in Agrax Earthshade and this guy would look perfect. It would give me some nice shadows. It would really get some contrast going. It would hide all the crimes of my poor brushwork. But overall, it's fine. And I bet you're wondering, why on earth did I pick bright orange as one of my colors? the Plasma Glow. This color made tan for me, but it's also the perfect way to make some bright, saturated details. Not just on the plasma, but also on their chest buttons and helmet lenses. Having all natural colored clothing and armor makes for a plain, realistic looking soldier, but the crazy, eye-catching highlights bring these bad boys back to the wonderful over-the-top world of Warhammer 40k. The light blue is close enough to white to do some specular highlights, little white dots here and there to show how shiny and reflective these spots are. I was painting so hard I actually knocked the model off the painting handle, and look what's underneath, a super high quality Cobalt Keep base with built-in slot for a magnet. Not only does Cobalt Keep make the best quality miniature bases in all the sizes wargamers need, but they also make the best display cases around. Their hero display cases hold one prized miniature, with a metal plate in the bottom so you don't have to worry about magnet polarity, and it holds the mini very securely. The box is stacked so you can display all of your most prized minis in your collection. Cobalt Keep's army display case is designed to hold the bulk of your army for tabletop war games, with a floor made out of a metal plate so that your models can be held securely no matter where they are in the case. Why not display your minis and transport them all at once? The high-quality polycarbonate shell securely clips into place and your minis are ready to be transported or displayed in style. So all this looks great, but you need something bigger? Well, Cobalt Keep has you covered. Their cavalry cases are monstrous, perfect for holding large cavalry minis and actual monsters, or any other centerpiece models in your collection. If you want to pick up some of these magnetic display cases and show off your minis in style, you can shop with the code EOB10 to get 10% off your order of Cobalt Keep cases. A big thanks to Cobalt Keep for sponsoring this video and giving me an attractive way to transport my kill teams. This project has really taught me how much I rely on tools like contrast paint and speed paint and washes and the airbrush, because these models are taking forever to paint. In fact, I timed myself to see just how long each mini was taking. I love painting kill teams because it's just a small handful of models and I get to try something that I would never build a whole army of. But the paint was slowing me down. I guess 30 minutes isn't that bad, but it feels bad because I'm doing lots and lots of base coating instead of my favorite things to do, which is highlighting. And I'm finding it a little tricky to fix mistakes because of how limited I am color-wise, but they are turning out okay. Some of these duders have unique details on them, like the camo cloak on this sniper specialist. Mixing more green into the brown made a unique color only used on him. Tan on the backpack with a brown wash over top with some tiger stripe camo of tan running across his cloak. This is an easy pattern to do with a nice sharp brush. On his inner cloak, I glazed brown to add more variety. And on the medic specialist, light blue was the perfect choice for his doctor mask and test tubes. I wonder what he has in there. I bet it's blood, plasma, and Diet Mountain Dew. It's time to tackle those bases. Usually I like to use a really contrasting color on the bases to really make the models pop. In this case, I might not be able to because of my limited palette, but you know what? I mixed green and orange to make brown, and I mixed orange and light blue to make tan. What happens if I mix all three together? It makes lentil soup green. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to try. The bricks got some light blue. The ruined city they're walking through was once really nice, but to show the now war-torn aspects of it, I wet blended the lentil soup green onto the piles of rubble. Then I re-highlighted the bricks with blue and then a dry brushing of tan. Not a bad look, and I achieved this with the same three colors I've been working with all day. Now for the real tragedy of this limited palette, it's time to paint the rim of the base black. And I don't have access to my favorite black paint, 21985E Apple Barrel Black. I guess I'll have to make do with the darkest color I have, this green. 3 colors and up, they are tabletop ready. And it's only been 15 hours. If I'm quick, I might still make the tournament. So what did I learn limiting myself to only 3 colors? Well, I learned a lot. I mentioned before that my Black Templars, I used 21 different paints, but it's actually not 21 different colors, because I used a lot of those different types of paints for convenience. 3 different types of red, an ink for the airbrush, a contrast paint to get my highlights and shadows quickly in place, and then a couple of different acrylic paints just so that I didn't have to mix so much. So really, lots and lots of colors give you convenience. These fellas were not convenient. Everything had to be brushwork, but they still turned out pretty darn good. I was able to push 3 colors really, really far, and I would be fine playing with these on the tabletop. They might not turn any heads at a tournament, but you know what? Paint is an additive process. Maybe I'll gloss coat these guys and then try out some oil paints to really get that contrast back in there. Because what 3 colors really limited me with was value. I could only get as bright as my lightest color, and I could only get as dark as my darkest color. And colors never really are that dark. But it was still fun, and it was still a really, really interesting challenge. And I definitely would not have painted these if I had access to my full range of paints. And thanks again to Cobalt Keep for sponsoring this video. I will definitely be putting these suckers onto one of their magnet-ready army display cases, and who knows, I might find a kill team tournament to transport these suckers to. Maybe after I've applied a couple of extra colors.